Hey guys, Henry here from The Closer Look. Today I will be explaining why, in my opinion, Thor is the best Marvel movie of all time. All materials used in this video are for non-profit educational purposes and fall well within the guidelines of fair use. Marvel so far has released 13 movies, and out of all of those movies, there have been some really good ones, Civil War being one of my favourites. However, there is one Marvel movie out there that I believe trumps them all. It's at this point in the video where I usually create some building tension, accompanied with dazzling special effects as there's a grand dramatic reveal of what the best Marvel film actually is. Except that's going to be way too hard for me to edit, and it would also be completely wasted as you've already read the title and you already know exactly what it is. It's Thor. So, why is Thor the best Marvel movie? I have a big list of points here to make, so in no particular order, let's cut straight to it. Firstly, but not most importantly, the musical score is brilliant. When I say to you, think of the Captain America music, or Civil War music, or even the Ant-Man music. You can't, can you? The music for those films is so generic that you forget it the second you leave the cinema. But with the Thor music, not only is it memorable, but it also fits the emotion of the film perfectly. The film Thor has a very humble theme. It's not about a giant alien invasion or some evil supervillain and his plan for world domination, which the majority of Marvel films are about nowadays. I'll ask you, what do you think the main theme behind this film actually is? Is it about betrayal? About reclaiming lost honour? Or maybe some grand theme about loyalty or revenge? No. The theme for Thor, oh that's a bit of a tongue twister. No. The theme for Thor is far simpler than that, and you have no clue how many times I had to reread that line until I got it right. It's about the relationship between a father and his son. This goes back to the music part because the melancholy tone of the score fits the film's theme beautifully. But it also brings me to my second point. This film is extremely refreshing for a superhero film because it actually focuses on the superhero, about his personal struggles and relationships. Most superhero movies simply use the main character as a storytelling device, merely a means to move the plot from point A to point B. The majority of these movies give their characters no development or meaningful emotion whatsoever. Thor starts off the movie as a selfish and ignorant brute who beats up hospital staff on sight, and towards the end of the movie he starts to see his flaws. He gets more humble and even sacrifices his own life to save his friends. In the last act of the film, Loki sets a trap for the Frost Giant King and basically assassinates him when he's at his most vulnerable, and Loki is portrayed as the villain for doing so. But the thing is, the Thor we knew at the start of the movie would have done the exact same thing. And that isn't just a theory. Literally, the first thing Thor does in the movie is march straight into the Frost Giant's home and smash up the place. He would have killed their king then and there if he had the chance. You couldn't find a better example of character development if you tried. And now I move on to my favourite reason for why Thor is the best Marvel movie. The villain. See, everybody thinks that Loki was a brilliant villain in the Avengers, and whilst I can say Tom Hiddleston did a wonderful job acting for Loki in that film, I can safely say wholeheartedly that he was a terrible villain in the Avengers. Let me explain why. Thor has Loki as its villain, and without doubt, Thor has the best villain out of any of the Marvel films. What is Loki's motivation in the film Thor? What is his end goal? Go on, think about it. Look into his dreamy blue eyes and ask yourself why he did what he did. Pause the video now and ask yourself that question. Have you thought about it? Okay, good. Now, what was your answer? Was it power? Did he want to take Thor's place as ruler of Asgard? No, he never wanted to be king. Did he want revenge? After all those years of Thor being the favourite son, did he finally seek to end it all with a mechanical bitch slap to the face? No. Loki's only real goal throughout the whole film is the love and approval of his father, Odin. In fact, there is some fairly strong evidence proving that Loki never wanted the throne. In a deleted scene where he is by his father's bed, a group of guards walk up to him and proclaim that he is the new king. The look on his face says it all. He is not just surprised. He is disgusted at the idea that he is now king because he knows he doesn't deserve it. Loki is not evil, and in fact nearly every good villain that's ever existed is not evil. If you want to see what I mean by that, then click here to see my guide on how to make a great villain. Sorry, sometimes I get a little carried away. Anyway, you may be thinking that Loki hates Thor, that he wants him dead. No, in fact, Loki loves Thor. He's his brother. An example to prove my point is when Thor is being held prisoner by S.H.I.E.L.D. after he breaks into their facility. When suddenly Loki turns up, he tells Thor that his father has died and he cannot bring him back to Asgard. Now, you may be thinking, well, this is a classic textbook villain tactic Loki's using, lying to the hero to try and make him give up his quest to save the day. Well, no, not really. Thor has no power in this scene, and Loki knows that Thor just tried to lift the hammer and couldn't. He is no threat to Loki. He could go to Thor and tell him the truth, that his father is actually fine and he plans to assassinate the Frost Giant King, and Thor couldn't lift a finger to stop him. Loki knows this. If he hated Thor, he would taunt him right now. Or maybe he'd even kill him. And if Loki just didn't feel anything for Thor at all, he wouldn't have even bothered to show up in the first place. He'd probably just sit on his throne playing Space Scrabble or whatever the hell people in Asgard do for fun. But no, he came to Thor to comfort him, to give him closure, because despite all their rivalry, he actually loves Thor. This point is further enforced when we get a close-up of Loki as he leaves the room in this scene. Look at his face. That isn't the face of anger or happiness. That is the face of shame, of guilt. He hates the idea that he just lied to his brother, especially about something so important. But he did it so Thor could have closure, so he could cut loose ends and start a new, peaceful life here on Earth. And then we reach the end of the film, where Thor has learned his lesson and gained his powers back. Loki is trying to destroy Jotunheim, the home planet of the Frost Giants. This final confrontation I found very entertaining, not just because we've grown to care for these characters, but because the positions of Thor and Loki have switched entirely. Thor went from being a hateful brute to a respectable wise man. Loki, however, has done the exact opposite, and now he is not just the embodiment of the film's antagonist, but also the embodiment of the old Thor, of his old way of doing things. In this scene, Thor isn't just fighting his brother, he is fighting himself. And in the last few shots with Loki, where his plans have failed and he's been confronted by his father, this happens.
I could have done it, Father! I could have done it! For you! For all of us! No, Loki.
This moment perfectly sums up Loki as a character. His entire goal from start to finish was to earn his father's respect, was to prove to Odin that he may not be worthy enough to lift Thor's hammer, but he is worthy enough to be his son. And when he finds out that his father is disappointed by his efforts, that his father is ashamed, he commits suicide by throwing himself off the edge, as he truly has no reason left to live. Of course, he does return in the Avengers, and that film did not do the character any justice at all. He went from a sympathetic, complex character to generic movie villain number 276. You can say what you like about Thor, or any of the Marvel films for that matter. It may not have the best action or the most impressive cast, but from an artistic perspective, it's the best film they have ever made. And it may not be a perfect film, but even though Thor follows a group of aliens and demigods, it couldn't be more human if it tried. Thanks for watching this week's video. This is my first ever upload onto this channel, and I have no clue whether or not I should continue making this kind of content. If you guys enjoyed this video and would like to see more, then please like and subscribe. I'm also trying to figure out my own format right now, so if you have any ideas on how I can improve my content and this channel, please let me know in the comments below. All feedback, both good and bad, is hugely appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time on The Closer Look.